welcome to another episode of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMB with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez. He passed away in 2011, but he's honored, he's venerated, and he's never forgotten. Bienvenidos a todos mis amigos que hablan español y bienvenido mis amigos que falan portugués también. Okay, so we're going to jump in head first, not feet first, head first. And we're going to be talking about the political landscape, and everybody says, oh, I'm bored with politics. You know what? Now, are you bored? As Gladiator said, Russell Crowe, are you entertained? Well, we're going to be talking about one of the entertainers who's also running, and that's Donald Trump. And we wanted to get Equal Time's Tommy Guns on. Tommy Holbein. Welcome, Tommy. How are you?
Hi, Joe. Nice to see you again. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Positive as always. And, you know, I appreciate what you've been doing on your show. Let's talk about, I know you wanted to come on and talk about political correctness. I wanted you, not just Donald Trump, okay, but he is one of the big players on there. Just out there, raw, uncut. What do you think about the phenomenon of Donald Trump?
Negativity and going negative draws the media to you, and he's gloves off politics. Donald Trump has never been elected into office. He's not a politician. He's not a Republican.
He's not being negative, is he? I mean, he's just telling it how he thinks it is.
He sees it only his way, you know, and he is negative.
How? In what way? We want to cut to some video here in a minute, but I hear what you're saying, but a lot of people say, no, he's not negative. He's just saying finally the truth. What do you think?
Well, the truth according to Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. We don't know what he is. We've never seen anything like him before run for president. And it's true. You know, he says he's worth $10 billion, never been elected into office. So he's not, he's a very unconditional candidate in that form. What is he? He's a Trump. How do you deal with a Trump? Okay, the only way to deal with a Trump is you have to get out and vote.
Well, let's talk about Jorge Ramos. Okay, he is the Edgar R. Murrows. He's the Walter Cronkite. He's the Ted Koppel of Univision. Now, fact, Univision, the Spanish TV station, which as many people watch is regular American, quote-unquote, English-speaking news like Fox. There's more people watching Jorge Ramos worldwide than Fox, I'll tell you that. Okay, but we're going to get to his being out of turn in a minute. So we know fact that there's litigation going on in Univision. You heard it from Donald Trump, right?
Absolutely.
He's suing him like for $500 million, okay? Why would he call on him, right? Jorge Ramos says, I've been waiting 3 weeks to try to get an interview, 4 weeks counting, and so he jumped the line, right? He jumped the line.
He wasn't going to get called on. The reason Mr. Ramos did what he did is because Trump was never going to call on him, and so he had to speak up. He had to speak up for himself and for the Latino vote and for the his Hispanics.
But he's a journalist, right? So
Absolutely.
Even I have the utmost respect for him. But when it's not your turn and you jump in, and then the goon comes out of nowhere, the guy was pretty big, man. I mean, he makes you look like a midget, right? The guy, I mean, small person. And he comes in, right, pushing him out, you know. He looked like, you know, Frankenstein with a dead girl in the scene, you know. Well, and he pushes him out, and then he brings him back in. He doesn't ask a question. He just starts getting into him and saying, your plan for deporting all these people is ridiculous, and what about the children? And we're cutting to these videos and images as we speak. But I mean, you can see, right? I mean, from the point of view of people that say America is going to hell in a handbasket, and everybody, all the quote-unquote undesirables, are taking over America, and we're being invaded by immigrants. There's a fear factor, okay? So why are you sitting here as somebody who has a rich cultural tapestry? Your ancestors go back to Richard King and before over there in England. The Holbeins have been here forever, right? So we'd be expecting you to be on Trump's side. I don't get it.
Because of the 14th Amendment. And everyone has a right to be a citizen of the United States that's born in the United States. Okay, and you can't change the Constitution just because you disagree with an amendment in the Constitution. Everyone has their constitutional right to be a citizen of the United States, and it's a fact. My family is from South Texas. Yo soy mexicano adentro, me llamo Tomás. Okay, I am from Hebronville, and I know we're weirdos, but we're a lot more brown inside than we are white on the outside. And I'm in touch with my Hispanic culture and heritage,
that's the
even
thing.
though I'm a gringo.
Okay, well, that's the thing. Look, I don't think Trump gets the relationship between Texans that are Mexican descent and that are of Anglo descent like you. I mean, you were telling me the other day your ranch and your lands from your family that you all have worked side by side with. Who's that guy that's your best friend down in Hebronville, Beto? Okay, I mean, your great grandfather and his worked side by side.
Absolutely. His father was my grandfather's foreman for over 40 years.
So
He was born at the ranch. You know, his brothers and sisters were born at the ranch. And my grandfather helped vaqueros that would come over and work and take the money back to their families for many, many years. That's what the normal was. It wasn't about send them back and all this bulliness. Donald Trump is a bully. Let's call him what he is. Donald Trump is a bully. He's got a loud mouth. He's got a lot of money, and he really doesn't care what people think about him.
And that's scary, right? Because there's no controls over him. On the other hand, we know we got politicians that are bought and paid for by, Google, that are bought and paid for by Big Pharma, and they just vote the way they line their pockets with. So there's a place for Donald Trump, right? I mean, he's telling the truth. There is some, why be politically correct and say it? Some politicians are bought and paid for.
Absolutely. They run, and then they don't know what to do. And then we don't see, they all run, they all want to get elected, and they've worked their way up through the traditional political chain. Okay, and that's how they get to where they are. From a mayor to a governor, from a governor to a senator or congressman to the presidency.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a guy that built his own empire who has done very well.
You got to hand it to him. The guy,
he knows how to manage. He
right?
has strong management skills. He surrounds himself with brilliant people that know how to manage, and he does know how to make things happen.
So is the wall doable?
Because he has enough money, and because of his success story, is he right for America? Is he? I mean, because he does tell it like it is. He's not a traditional politician at all. He's ungroomed. He's out of the gate.
I like that. Ungroomed.
He is.
Well, his hair is groomed,
Well,
but that's about it. I mean, politically
he
speaking.
opens up his mouth and the gloves are coming off.
Every time.
Every time.
And he's thin-skinned. He calls a female reporter, I found it exceptionally, I took exception to it, a bimbo.
He has no manners.
Rosie O'Donnell's fat.
He's rude.
And the thing is that,
he's obnoxious.
As president, I mean, can it get worse? I mean, ISIS, hate us, ISIL, whatever you want to call him today.
He's
Al-Qaeda.
He's his own worst enemy. He's our worst enemy if he gets into office because he wants to push a button and teach people a lesson. He
already said he'd throw down with Iran.
Trump will push a button and call in the airstrikes and blow up oil fields and get us in a mess quicker than
How do you know that?
Well, because he'll do it.
Or do you think he's just talking so he can get elected? But at the end of the day, I've done some research on Mr. Trump since the early 80s. The guy's a pragmatist. He's a businessman. He's going to look at it and say it's all about money, trade, commerce. Am I going to blow up my business partners? I mean, I think he's appealing to that silent majority of older white conservatives who say we're losing our country and are still asking for Obama's birth certificate 8 years later.
Well, I think that the world leaders would respect him more than they do Obama.
Okay, all right, tell it like it is.
As a foreign policy president, there's no question that his business ethics and the way he carries himself is going to get respect from world leaders.
Okay.
A lot more, but is he right for us? He wants to build a wall. He goes, building a wall is easy. He said, I build skyscrapers 90 stories tall on 57th and 5th in New York City. He goes, building a wall would be easy. He goes, is that the answer? No, it is not the answer.
Well, look at this. Look, I went to law school with very conservative white males. I mean, we sat there and shot the breeze every Friday, having the beverage of our choice, and talking about politics. So East Texas politics, and you're getting the real conservative voice there. And I really had a great opportunity to get the inner workings of really right-wing people, right? Okay. Well, let me tell you this. They're in agreement with him that America's respect level has gone down. China is kicking our butt economically, okay? And there's still, ISIS is out of control. Our borders are not secured is what they're saying, okay? This is not like when you and I, 20, 30 years ago, watermelon picking and everything, we'd pick one person up on the side of the road and give them some water, take them to go eat, and they weren't documented. That was the romantic era. So those days are gone. They're past. There's like 10, 15% of those that are coming in that are bad guys. And I mean, the cartel, so why not a wall? In your opinion, why not a wall? He built that skyscraper. Why can't he build the wall from Florida all the way to California or something? Structurally, I mean, I'm no engineer, but come on.
It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of work. And
how many years? Come on. You've worked construction. You've had your own construction stuff. Tell us, how long would it take?
There's still going to be tunnels. They'll dig under it. I mean,
Mexico's good in tunnels.
Fill the tunnels with concrete. Stops the drugs. I mean,
Chapo would design the tunnels. And they got Van-Ed, they got cable TV in the tunnel. Hey, how you doing?
As a wall or as a fence, stopped them. Look, they have tunnels. They
would tunnel in under the wall. Good point.
There's no question you're not going to stop persistency. When they're persistent, there's no question.
When they want in, they want in. But it'll deter, right?
It will deter, and it will cause some problems. And he wants Mexico to pay for this. And
Mexico's not going to pay for it. I mean, they're our biggest trading partner. Why would they want to pay for it? Oh, okay, let's go Jeb. He's been a wimp.
Jeb Bush.
I'm going to say it. He's been a wimp. Why hasn't he stood up to them?
Because he's letting Trump blow his wind, hot air coming out of his mouth. Jed has more class. And because negativity has drawn all the media to Donald Trump.
And he's married to a Mexican national.
He speaks fluent Spanish. He announced his candidacy for presidency in Spanish today. And Jeb Bush is someone that understands immigration.
So he's not a wimp. Is that what you're saying?
Jeb Bush is not a wimp. He is just being conservative and waiting because it's just Donald Trump having fun with all the money that he has, giving kids helicopter rides, flying into the Iowa State Fair, looking like a
that was a trip, man.
I mean, he brings the circus. Okay, that's what Donald Trump does.
If you took my daughter on a helicopter ride, I don't want to vote for him. That's $300 a pop, man.
Gives everybody a Trump shirt. Says 1, 2, 3 Trump. Okay, kids, let's go. Cotton candy and popcorn in the helicopter flying around. All right, he can do this because he's got the money.
Out of control.
No one else has $10 billion to just throw around. He said he'll spend $1 billion on his own campaign and doesn't need anybody's money.
Which is good.
No one can do that.
That's good because he's not controlled by special interest groups.
No,
the problem being is, I'm not comparing him, but he could potentially become a dictator. I mean, the white conservatives have said that Obama has repeatedly issued more executive orders than anybody else, unilaterally done stuff. So ultra conservatives, primarily white, like you look at Trump's camp. I think I saw one black guy on the payroll, no Hispanics, and then the crowds, it's just white people, 99.5%.
Well, he's not campaigning down here in South Texas, and
he went to Laredo, and Carlos Lopez, our flagship king of KTMB, went over there and he said, you know what? He was surrounded by 50 white people, a bunch of mics real close, and then a bunch of Hispanics were really mad, but he drowned them out like he did Jorge Ramos because he's got the mic, and he's got the bouncers.
It's more than that. He just doesn't
They hate him in Laredo.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care, and that's
care.
a problem.
But
he's not accountable to anybody. So do you think he will care about the voters?
Well, if we sit on our couch and watch this take place and we don't go to the vote, if you don't get out and register to vote, one, if you're not registered to vote, you need to register to vote. Second, you need to pay close attention, Republican or Democrat, because the only way a Goliath like this is stopped is by people voting.
But
the voice of the people it's the only way.
But
it's
people are tired, man. You know, a lot
No
of
one
people
wants to
said
vote,
that
Joe.
Obama said that, you know, they say the right wing and some moderates also say that President Obama has been ineffectual, that he hasn't accomplished a lot of his goals. I'll say one thing, he's got a thick skin. I've never seen so many people in the history, you know, since I've been around, that have thrown so many cheap shots at somebody, and he's taken them. He's insulted his wife, his daughters, they've insulted him, and I think a great percentage, all because he's black. Yeah, I said it. There's a lot of people that just, it's stuck in their craw that he was an African-American elected. Okay?
Donald Trump is married to an immigrant. He's a hypocrite. His wife was not born in the United States. She is not a citizen of the United States, and he's a complete hypocrite. You know, so if
he's had how many other supermodels that he married? I mean, he's got the money. You know,
he wants to pull the 14th Amendment and take away the right of citizenship if you're born in the United States.
What about anchor babies, as I call it, that derogatory term? You know what? You know what my wife said? She said, "Why is he picking on all the Mexicans?" He said, "Asia advertises for this that says," and I'm not picking on Asians, I'm just saying the way it is. In China, they say, "Come and have a great vacation in Los Angeles in your third trimester, hang out, rent a nice house, and then give birth, and that way all your generations will be American." Okay? That's fact. They can afford to come over here on a visa, and they can afford to come over here and live lavishly and have the baby, and then all the generations are American after that. Would you consider repealing the 14th Amendment under those circumstances, looking at that fact pattern?
No, the 14th Amendment needs to stay the 14th Amendment. You don't go in and change the Constitution of the United States.
I think every judge.
He's going to go in there and tear it up. He's going to rip it up. He's going to fight with Congress. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's not going to care. The same way that you see Donald Trump right now is the way he's going to act in the White House. And
Pretty
he's going to
scary.
step all over the House of Senate and the House. He's going to walk over Congress. He's going to walk over everybody. He's going to do whatever he wants. He's going to have us in a war. And he's going to build a wall, and he's going to be having bullies sending people back to Mexico, and it's going to be out of hand. And
well, you know,
we have to vote. I'm a white guy, and I don't like Donald Trump. You see that? All you listeners out there.
Yes.
All right. I'm all about justice, and I'm all about freedom, and I'm all about the rights of the United States Constitution, and I'm all about South Texas. No question about it. I am for South Texas. The South Texas Voice wants to voice your opinion. And if you have any, just give me a call. Contact South Texas Crossfire because...
or your magic number, 980-7748. Yeah, so you're going to put out a special edition on Trump or what?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, if he came over here and talked to you and said, which will probably never happen, he doesn't even give the big guys the interviews. And then when he does give them the interviews, we'll go to the... before we go to break, we'll go to all the insults, the top 5 minutes of insults. He slammed everybody.
Politicians are all talk, no action. The politicians are going to destroy this country. They're weak and they're ineffective. I watch as politicians are trying to claim that, and that's okay with me. You know, they're all talk, no action, so they won't do anything anyway, just so you understand. I've watched the politicians. I've dealt with them all my life. They will never make America great again. They don't even have a chance.
We have very stupid people in our country negotiating for us, and we have leaders that don't know what they're doing.
I respect Mexico, but their leaders are too smart for our leaders because we have stupid leaders, okay? You know, free trade, I believe in it. Totally. I'm a free trader. The problem with free trade is you need smart people on our side. When you don't have smart people, free trade is not a good thing. Free trade can be wonderful if you have smart people. But we have people that are stupid. We have incompetent politicians, not only the president.
Obama would get creamed if he ran again.
I call Obama the 5-for-1 president. We get Bergdahl, they get 5 guys that they dream of, okay? We get a traitor, a no good, rotten traitor like Bergdahl. And they get 5 killers that they most wanted in the whole world who are right now back on the battlefield trying to kill everybody, including us. Our president doesn't have a clue. He's a bad negotiator. I think they made a mistake, but not with Obama, because he's weak and he's ineffective. You have this guy, Lindsey Graham, a total lightweight. Here's a guy in the private sector, he couldn't get a job, believe me. Lindsey Graham, your senator. What a stiff. What a stiff. By the way, he's registered 0 in the poll. 0.
I couldn't care less about Lindsey Graham. He's registered at, I think, 0 in the poll.
I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228-0292. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. 202-228-0292. So, I don't know. Give it a shot. I see Rick Perry the other day. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart. And it just doesn't work. You know, people can see through the glasses.
Yeah, but Rick Perry, honestly, I don't think he even understands what it means.
I tweeted that Rick Perry should have to have an IQ test before getting on the debate stage.
I think Rick Perry did a terrible job as the governor of Texas, where the border security was terrible.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States. Hillary was the worst.
Hillary Clinton's going to be a horrible president.
I think Hillary would be a terrible president. She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? I think she'd be a terrible president.
Rubio, he was unable to answer the question. Is Iraq a good thing or a bad thing? He didn't know. He couldn't answer the question. How are these people going to lead us? How are we going to go back and make it great again? We can't. They don't have a clue. Jeb Bush, let's say he's president. The last thing this country needs is another Bush. We've had it with the Bushes.
You look at somebody like Jeb Bush. It took him 5 days to give a proper answer on Iraq. He was changing his answer every day. How is somebody like that going to negotiate?
The poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. Bush is totally in favor of Common Core. I don't see how he can possibly get the nomination. He's weak on immigration. He's in favor of Common Core. How the hell can you vote for this guy?
I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that because I don't like losers.
And he's the guy. I mean, he's supposed to be doing it. And I see him on television all the time, and he's always talking, but nothing gets done.
He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Do you agree with that? He's a war hero because he was captured. 60–70% of the political media is really, really dishonest.
Because the press are liars. They're terrible people. They're terrible people.
The press is very, very dishonest. And I think people are wise to the press.
Because those people, many of them, not all, some are great, but many of them are very dishonest people, meaning the press. Very dishonest. Very dishonest.
The people don't trust you, and the people don't trust the media.
That there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Reverend Al is a con man. You know, tells people I'm going to picket you if you don't give. I mean, this guy is a con man. How stupid are our leaders? How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
Stay in the race, just stop being a jackass.
I don't think he represents the Republican Party, and his views are way out of the mainstream of what Republicans think.
Donald Trump doesn't represent the Republican Party. I think his remarks were offensive. As an individual who has worn the uniform of this country, I was highly offended what Donald Trump said about John McCain.
I think the comments he's made has allowed people that don't want to have a debate or talk about illegal immigration to distract from the very serious debate on hand.
To make these extraordinarily ugly kind of comments is not reflective of the Republican Party. Trump is wrong on this.
Donald Trump owes every American veteran, and in particular John McCain, an apology.
The American people deserve better. Certainly presidential debates deserve better.
I have just one word for Mr. Trump. Basta. Enough.
He is an equal opportunity slammer. I'll give him that.
He takes the gloves off, and Joe, you know and I know that negative campaigning is a novella, and we have a novella on our hands with Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
Man. He challenged the Koch brothers. He said, you know what? Bring it on, brothers.
Negative campaigning brings the media. It's true. Look at it. He doesn't have to spend money because he's on every news channel every day, all day.
CNN, oh my God, MSNBC.
Because he opens up his mouth.
The guy dominated, like for a whole day, world news.
You know, maybe some of these local candidates that are going to be running need to,
here we go.
You know, take some notes and don't be afraid to have a dirty campaign. I mean, there's nothing wrong with some mudslinging.
You know,
it's the history of politics.
The most naive
take the gloves off.
The most naive people say, keep it positive, you know. And
we're not going to go negative.
Yeah, we're not going to go negative. That's the biggest lie in the world. That's like, you know, the checks in the mail. I'm from the IRS. I'm here to help you.
No,
Big lies.
You draw a line in the sand.
And you say, look, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you harder. Godfather style. Let's go and hit the mattresses.
It's whether you win or lose. You want to be elected into office. You want that seat. What are you willing to do to get that seat?
All right, we're going to go and take some, well, we've been seeing some clips and stuff. You're watching the analysis of and the phenomena of Trump and also politics in America. He's really bringing out some interesting points. You know, are there politicians that are bought and paid for? Are there issues, is there some validity to what he's saying about immigration? Yes, but are his measures realistic? When we come back, we're going to keep on with that theme, but then we're going to expand it out to our local politicians. So you local politicians, watch out. We're going to talk about you too when we come back.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all.
Okay, who's next? Yeah, please. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. No, you don't. You haven't been called. Go back to Univision. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You cannot deport 11 million people. You cannot build a 1900 wall. You cannot deny citizenship to children in this
Sit down, please. You weren't called.
I'm a reporter and don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me.
Go.
You cannot touch me. I have the right to ask a question. I have the right to ask a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know really much about him. I don't believe I've ever met him, except he started screaming, and I didn't escort him out. You'll have to talk to security, whoever security has escorted him out. But certainly he was not chosen. I chose you. I chose other people to answer. I mean, you're asking me questions. He just stands up and starts screaming. So, you know, maybe he's at fault also. Yes. Good. Absolutely. Good. Absolutely. Good to have you back. Here's what we're going to do. Ready? Okay. No. Let me tell you. We're going to do it in a very humane fashion. Believe me. I have a bigger heart than you do. And we want to get good people back in. And also, let me just tell you, I've given you specifics. I've given you great management, and they're going to hopefully come back in very soon.
And we're back after a brief break. We're South Texas Crossfire, KTMB. Don't forget our sponsors, Vasquez Flores Home Health, 881-9922. Nursing homes have their place, but if you want to stay at home and remain independent, Vasquez Flores Home Health can help. 881-9922. Backed by 25 years of experience as an RN, Priscilla Vasquez can help you at home. And if you want a job, call her, 881-9922, 881-9922. Drug-free enforcement policy and a background check. Other than that, if you're willing to work and stay drug-free and work hard, call her, 881-9922. And let's not forget Rivers City Hospice, 882-5900. Janet Montaigne and her gang, Hospice, it's not what you think. Find out more. Friend them, River City Hospice, and also call 882-5900 if you have a loved one with liver problems, kidney problems, and heart problems, or anything else like Alzheimer's or dementia. Find out more. There's a lot of services out there people aren't taking advantage of. 882-5900. All right, we're back with Thomas Holbein. We're talking about lions, tigers, bears. We're out in the jungle right now, a political landscape. People are going ballistic about not just Donald Trump, but about the whole, we're questioning the American politics and what is politically correct, what is not. Question we left off, is Donald Trump politically correct? In your opinion, Mr. Holbein from the South Texas Voice.
No, he's not politically correct.
That was a loaded question.
The guy's an animal. Okay? He doesn't care.
Oh, look who's talking. You know, I've seen you on TV.
The guy, Mr. Trump, is going to march to his own drum.
So do you.
He's going to
First Amendment rights.
You know, absolutely. Hey, you know what? He's not your traditional politician at all.
Okay, the homeless guy.
We've never seen anybody like this guy.
All right, the homeless guy. 58 years old, Mexican citizen, Boston guys beat the living hell out of him, the two brothers. They urinated on him. They hit him with a pipe, all this stuff. And then they said, Trump said they got to go. All right. Now, right away, all of Trump supporters and every white male, right conservative jumped on Facebook and said, hey, it wasn't his fault, man. I mean, you know, but certain words incite certain actions, right?
He's fueling hate, and blood is on his hands, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, come on.
The Trump fuels hatred.
All right, well, what endorsements do we have? David Duke, huh? Big endorsement. White supremacists are endorsing him.
The boys in the white hoods are endorsing
the
Donald
boys
Trump.
In the hood.
The boys
That's
in the
hilarious.
hood. I mean, well, that's true. David Duke and his boys in the hoods are endorsing Donald Trump. They are.
Seriously.
White America is endorsing.
Well, it's all white people that go to Trump's rallies. I don't see many Hispanics, but I've heard some Hispanics agree with some points. Like me, I like the guy's style somewhat.
Well, look what he does, Joe. He tells it like it is. He takes the gloves off.
I want to hear that.
You know, he's not scared. He's not a traditional politician.
Neither are you. Maybe you should run.
So Donald Trump's views on immigration are biased and racist. And I'll tell
in what
from
way?
The South
He
Texas
said he loves Mexicans.
Yeah, but he wants to build a wall and send everybody home and take out the 14th Amendment and control. Oh, yeah, he likes the food, but he doesn't like the 14th Amendment.
He likes burritos and tacos and enchiladas.
He's not going to give a baby U.S. citizenship because they were born on U.S. soil and their parents are undocumented illegal aliens or not registered citizens of the United States.
But he said he would give a pathway to people to come back.
Yeah, but what kind of pathway is he going to... Look, it's going to be...
Just tell it the way it is.
Get out and vote.
Yeah, I mean...
Get out and vote. If you don't like what he's saying and you don't want him to be in office...
or if you love what he's saying.
We have to vote, okay? That's across the board. Republican or Democrat, or You have to vote.
A lot
okay?
of people like his style, Tommy.
You know, look what happened. Look what happened in the last election. The entire state and the entire country was painted red. Okay, the Republicans wiped the blue off the map.
Oh man,
That's
talk
true.
about a butt whipping.
Wiped it off the map. Okay, everything's red, and so if the Republicans are going to win the presidency, then Jeb Bush is the candidate that needs to be in president. If a Republican wins.
Well, locally, let me tell you, the Republicans were well organized. They spent money, and what happens with the Democrats is, and they are, you know, I have helped more Democrats in South Texas on television than anybody else, and that's the truth. Free, out of my own pocket. I'll go Trump here. Out of my own pocket, I wrote checks to Carlos Lopez in this station and brought on all these candidates. And let me think about the thanks that I got. Okay, so I'm saying that on TV. Let's go unpolitically correct. We've got infighting in the Democratic Party. We've got people that just won't let go of grudges, and they're always infighting. You don't see the same thing in the Republican Party. They keep their dirty laundry quiet, okay? So the problem being is, and I'm not blaming Joseph Ramirez. You know, he can take a punch. You know, his leadership, he's done better than certainly past chairs. I'll tell you that. To try to unify people, he's done his best. Problem being is, all that money from here locally flows upwards. You know, I want my local dollars that are supporting Democratic candidates to stay here, not to go up to Austin, not to go to the national campaigns. These people barely have any money in South Texas. Let's keep politics here. But I'll get off my stump.
The problem is, you know, the Democratic fundraisers are traditional barbecue plates, and then you have exceptions like Judge Joe Benavides, who's an organized Marine
monster.
And then you have,
in a good way,
and compliments to Joe for all he's done for the children. We want to thank Joe Benavides.
He's kept his word. He's kept his word.
He is out working with the community, going to the schools, working with the kids, and setting an example for anybody else out there. He stands alone. Judge Joe Benavides, you have my vote.
Well, he's run 3 times. On the third was the charm. He never gave up. I was out there with him, and I'll tell you, we were out in the rain, we were out in the freezing cold, so were you, and Joe Benavides kept his word. Unlike many politicians, he kept his word. Another guy on the Republican side, Guy Williams. You want to talk politically not correct, he just doesn't care. He'll tell you his opinion, but when he got up there in that judge bench, let me tell you, on fire and fair. Okay, another Republican judge, Judge Stith. You don't know if they're Republican or Democrat. They're fair. There's more about it. You know, Stith got all that publicity because Bonilla came up there and said, "Prison's rough. I want out."
Well, no question, Judge David Stith is a fair and honorable judge who has earned that seat. He was elected into that seat, and that's his courtroom. And Judge Steth, you're doing a great job as well. And I'm sure everyone out there would appreciate not overturning Bonilla's sentence and or reducing it because of what he did.
And for the record, he is not the reflection of the whole Bonilla family. And he was a nice guy. He just made bad choices, and he did bad things to his clients, which you should never do. But I know a lot of great attorneys in that law firm, and they should not be painted with the same brush.
So I understand. No, and they're not. It's just, you know, it is what it is, and you know, too bad if bad things happen in the showers and crying in front of the judge. You know, it's unfortunate. But you know what?
I mean,
he took money from families.
Bad things happen in the shower.
Would you agree with me?
Did he say it was rough in the showers?
All right. What if that was your Miho or your grandmother that he took $300,000 from? How would you feel?
Worse than the showers, let me tell you.
Well, how do you feel?
Well, what were his words? You covered that story when he went back with Stith, and Stith did not. Weren't there protesters out there?
Absolutely. There were people in front of the courthouse that said he owed over $340,000 that he took from them. You know, absolutely. There are people that suffered from placing their trust in this man.
What did he tell Stith then?
You know, he kept
what
the
was
money.
he asking?
He went on lavish vacations. He you know,
I'm just asking, what did he ask for Stith? What did he tell Stith? It was rough in there? Or?
Absolutely cried. He cried. Don't even get me started, Joe.
Just quote it.
Bad things happen in the showers.
Oh, my
awful.
God.
He said it. There's awful things. He goes, it's awful in there. Please, reduce my sentence. No.
All right.
David Steth looked at him like, you know what? I do not feel sorry for you because.
Let's go down the line. Let's move on from the showers.
Yeah, let's just.
Okay.
He's doing.
For the last week, you've been monitoring Judge Missy Maderi in her courtroom. Okay, you've gone in there in the subterfuge, dressed in your usual suit or the Dockers, and then you went in there with a bib overall, so they don't know who you are, right? You were in incognito, Okay, so you go in there. What do you think of her as a judge? Just be honest, unfiltered.
She's an excellent judge.
Okay, and why?
Because
tell it like it is, brother.
She knows her business. She knows her law. She knows her court, and it's not, any felony court is a tough job. Okay, you have to look at it. You have to evaluate. You have to be able to make good decisions. You have to make tough decisions. And in my mind, she is a very, very good judge and deserves her seat. With no question. I think that her opponent has their work cut out for them if they're going to run against Missy, and she's an excellent judge. And if you're listening, Judge, keep up the good work. You make fair and harsh decisions, but you do what's right in the court that you preside over, and that's your courtroom. There's no question about it. The 347th. I know this, that if you are in her court, you need to give her the respect she deserves.
Oh, you got that right. Okay, long-standing Southern Justice Judge, Jose Longoria. Okay, Jose Longoria has always been a stern, but in my opinion, pretty fair judge. However, he is a strong man. He always has been on the bench. If you don't have your stuff in a row, he's going to let you have it. But also, nicest guy when he steps off the bench, too. So he's been on there long-standing. We've got an excellent ex-assistant district attorney and judge, Miss Klein, that is thinking about running against him. What do you think about that race?
Well, I think every candidate needs to have their war chest ready, and if they got to take down the champion, basically in a title fight. The signs alone do not win elections, and when it comes to being an elected official in any race, JP, whatever the race may be, and a presiding judge like Longoria, they need to have a strategy, and they need to be able to prove and earn their way into that courtroom. He's the presiding judge, and I think Longoria will keep his seat. We will see. Who is willing to do what it takes. It's hard work.
There's no question.
You got to work hard. You have to work hard.
Yeah.
There's more to it than putting signs up. You have to do what it takes to win.
Well, I think that the conversation nationally with Donald Trump and about politically correct, rather, I think it's changed the way candidates are going to run. I think that people aren't going to be afraid to step on toes. It's hard to run because you've got to bite your tongue 100 times a day because people will just come unfiltered at you, and then you've got the people blasting you from a crowd, and you've got to be able to take punches. So I think that seeing something like that, Trump, as you said, there's a chain in the national, well, here in the local too. I think you're going to see challengers. County commissioner, where you don't have to have a certain background, the Pusley phenomena, where you have somebody that unseated Peggy Banales that came on and took over that area as a Republican. I've heard whispers that people want to take him on, but then they have cold feet. I think there's some people that are afraid to run against him. I haven't heard a lot of big criticisms about him other than he votes partisan. more conservative and Republican than that. The only other shots I heard about him was he was double dipping for a while. He was in the oil and gas industry, and then he finally stepped down, but he was making a living there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there was other politicians doing that. But now you've got Neil, you've got Pusley, and then you've got Brent Chesney. So you got to count of 3 in Nueces County politics and Commissioner's Court to get anything done. Joe Gonzalez has been there. Oscar Ortiz is going down. This is looking like it's going to become a Republican-controlled, it already is, but really supermajority-controlled county commissioner's court. How do you see Pusley?
Well, it's going to take, Pusley can be taken down, and if no one runs against him, then, what do you mean
he can be taken down?
If somebody comes up against them, then they just need to be prepared and ready to run for that seat and understand.
Well,
the county
who's there ready to run against him?
Well, like you said, there's whispers. I'm not in a place right now where I can disclose any names, and let the candidate come out and announce their candidacy for that seat when they're ready. That's how I feel about it. It's not my place or position to say who's going to run if they haven't announced it. So there you have it. So, but I would say, the superpowers are working, and yeah, it's going to be painted red. The whole courthouse is painted red. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party, Joe, look at the numbers, look at what's happened. Unless
the voter turnout is just dismal.
Horrible.
People just could care less about politics. I had somebody inside the KTMB organization said, Joe, nobody cares about politics, But they're the first ones to whine and moan when things don't go their way, When entitlement, when entitlements and things are going to be taken away.
Republicans vote. Republicans do vote.
They vote. Vote.
There's no question. Republicans vote. They get registered, they get involved, they vote.
The island has overtaken Robstown. People used to fear Robstown. You go in there, if you don't have Robstown, you're going to lose an election. I hear candidates going, I'm not even going to go to Robstown. And that's shouldn't be underestimated, especially in a Democratic year. I want to be clear. Anybody who runs should not underestimate Robstown, Texas, and that area. But the island, man.
It's red.
Red. Wow. You ever go to Port Aransas and try to campaign there? There's like one vote for a Democrat at Port Aransas, I'm serious.
Everything's red.
Everything's red.
That's what it is.
Red,
And you know what? The Republicans are unified, and they outspend Democratic candidates 10-1.
Well, you need big money to
outvote 10-1.
We got Joey Gonzalez, commissioner, last run. He's out. He's not going to run anymore. And we got Oscar Ortiz stepping down. They're both not termed out, but they're not going to run anymore. And so Oscar Ortiz, you got John Mattis, our very own from KTMB, who was created South Texas politics, and was there for 2 decades, wanting to run. Very popular guy. But he's been on city council against, drumroll please, Bob Hilliard's boy and ex-judge John Martinez, who has a ton of money and a ton of support behind him. So it's going to be, and he's popular too. He has a lot of, friends and contacts. How do you see that race cutting? Have you heard anything on the analysis between John Martinez, the attorney, and John Mattis?
Well, I think John Mattis would make a very fair, he would make a very good candidate and hold that seat and represent the Corpus Christi people in his district with no question.
But he's going to take the money.
Well,
he's going to need
John
a lot
Mattis
of
needs
money.
to, he CCISD. He's a very honest, fair man, and it's going to come down to who.
Well, you've got. It's
going to be a war chest.
You got a guy working with one of the biggest trial lawyer firms in the United States. Was a sitting judge for County Court at Law number 3.
Is he the Trump of that race? Would you say? It just takes
but
organization.
A nice Trump.
It takes organization, and it just takes. You have to be ready You just have to be. I mean, if you want it, you got to fight for it.
Bringing it back home. Bringing it back home. We first started this conversation with, the politically correct and incorrect campaign of Donald Trump, and then how it bleeds into the local politics, how it affects race relationships. Okay. Going back to, do you think there's a divide because of his campaign?
Absolutely.
That's being created?
Absolutely.
Well, look, I've heard what you had to say about Donald Trump, and I understand your point of view, which a lot of your demographic, white Anglo-Saxon males, would disagree and say, oh, come on, how can you not defend Donald Trump?
How can I not defend Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that he's pandering to you. He doesn't give a darn, but he wants your vote, that demographic. Look around him. All he has is white people following him around because they're the ones who support him.
You don't have to defend him. I'm not going to defend Donald Trump. Does he need any help defending himself? He doesn't think he makes any mistakes, and everything he says is politically correct. Even when he said to Kelly, about the Kelly files, I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth, he thinks he's right.
The guy said, the Bible's the greatest book ever written. I doubt if he knows Scripture. I doubt if he knows Joshua 1:9. I doubt if he knows Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, or I just.
No, what he knows is Trump.
What
he understands Trump 3:16. That's what he created his own Bible.
Oh wow!
Right.
Wow, you went there.
Trump
3:16.
Yeah,
oh,
Trump 3:16.
Yeah,
that's what he believes in.
Yeah, when he said, I love the Bible. It made it so like he trivialized it, like it was some book that was written. It is the greatest book ever written. But for him, for this guy who just values money over everything else, you know what he said that he wanted to run? He wanted to run because, it's a good idea. I wanted to do that. It's like one of my goals. It's public service, not private service. That's the only thing that I have a problem with. I like that he shakes up the energy. I like that he's brutally honest. But let's be honest, he's doing it. It's all about him.
It is. He wants to make America great again. He says there isn't a politician out there in our history or in our future that can turn America around. He's completely convinced.
I don't think that's true.
That
other than him, out of 300 million people, he's the only guy who can do it.
What people like about Donald Trump is not a traditional politician. Is that he tells it like it is, and people like a leader with a backbone like this.
But anybody can throw rocks like that. Anybody can throw rocks.
But he has a proven background. He has a proven success record.
My point is,
that he can make things happen. That's what people like about him.
My point is that, again, that I'm right. That your demographic, the white Anglo-Saxon male between 40 and 60 years of age, identify with him.
Well,
right?
I don't identify with him, but I like his take the gloves off style.
Okay. All right. And here locally, why do you think that it's being painted red? Because not enough people are like Trump, right? Here locally in politics?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, yeah.
Are you saying that
people are not willing to fight hard enough? Really? I mean, Cole, we like a dog fight. You want two little kittens in the ring go meow, 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 meow. Or do you want a dog fight when it comes down, well, let's go back to the Clayton Williams campaign and here for the Texas governor.
Oh, there you go, man. You're going back like half a century, brother. I mean, 30 years.
Governor, yeah.
Yes, I remember with Ann Richards.
Governor Ann Richards and Clayton Williams.
Like 25
there's
years
a good
ago.
Texas dog. That was a good motherfucker.
But people aren't into politics here. People don't care.
Clayton Williams shot himself in the foot.
Oh, yeah, with the rain comment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It backfired. Now, do you not think Donald Trump will do the same thing?
I don't know. I think that he has insulted Fox. He's insulted MSNBC. He's
insulted everybody.
Everybody, and then he comes back and says, "But I love him." He slaps him and then he hugs him. But here locally, don't you think we need an injection of somebody like that?
Well, I respect Mr. Ramos for what he did, going in there and interrupting, and even though he
wasn't his turn.
Well, he wasn't going to get called on. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
you understand?
probably true.
Trump would have never called on Mr. Ramos in that press conference.
I was really surprised. 'Cause
That's
the guy's
why he
chill.
spoke up.
He's super chill. He interviewed what's her name, and Ann Coulter, and she really appeals to that ultra right conservative, John Birch Society sector, but Jorge was real cool with her, even when she said, ISIS, and put Mexicans on the same plane as ISIS,
So he's got a serious issue. He's breeding hatred, and
who is Jorge or
no Trump? And he's just not the solution. His immigration views are not the solution.
But here locally,
everybody off.
locally on the break, you told me you're bored with local politics, and why?
Well, because there is not enough fight in primarily the Democrat. Nobody really wants to go negative. Let's just call it what it is. Nobody wants to go negative. They want to be nice, and there's not enough people or candidates that run that they just want to put
why
the signs
negative?
up.
I mean, why do you have to go negative? The other thing is, why do you have to do that? People say, why would you have to go negative?
It's politics 101.
Well, look, I don't think it's negative to call out a person for their record. I don't think it's negative to call out a person.
You got to show both sides. You got to say, you got to have them in black and white and you in color. It's just you show a black and white image of your opponent, then you show you in color. It's by going negative doesn't mean you're actually just going after. It's all how you advertise and how you twist it and how you present it. You show your opponent with a messed up hairdo, with a bad body posture in black and white, and then you show the candidate that in color, dressed and polished. Okay, you got a split screen. It's how you campaign. Okay, it's all how you campaign. It's technique, it's style, and that is what I mean by going negative. I don't mean to go out there and and to completely go negative.
Well, I mean that's fine, but I mean people are just bored with politics. People don't care here locally. I see a lot of apathy.
The Bobby Balderas race with Eric Cantu was a JP race. Okay,
here we go.
It was the most tuned-in political commentarios in the history of 104.9 Magic. People were tuning in to listen to this JP race.
Thanks to Diamond Dave for putting them up on social media.
And it's a fact.
That's what blew out of the water.
It was heated. It was hot. It was drama. It was a lot of things.
It was a Spanish novella, and that's why people got involved.
And Eric came out with Bobby Balderas takes money from a child molester.
Yeah,
okay, it came out dirty.
Man.
It came out dirty.
I mean, show me anybody who takes a check from somebody and does a background check on them. Nobody.
But it showed a red hood stalking children on a playground. It was horrible.
What does that have to do with Balderas? Not a darn thing. Because the guy had deferred child molestation.
8 years prior to the 8 years priar to the charge.
They still can't talk to each other.
A $500 contribution.
They walk in the same room and you hear.
It was just he came out swinging with.
Eric. I mean, but he should run again. I think Eric learned a valuable. No, but Eric learned a valuable lesson. I'll tell you what. When you go negative and just have that, and you won't debate, you won't engage, you won't come out and talk. That's the problem. If you just throw a bunch of negative ads and then hang around, having Ben and Jerry's and watching TV and hiding out in your bunker. Eric has come out, the Wembley thing, truckloads of water. He's really stepped up as a citizen here in South Texas, surprised everybody. I mean, he was known as King of Towing. I'll give him a plug. I mean, Lone Star Wrecker was one of the most hated towing companies, but who doesn't hate a towing company until they need them? They're right on the level of lawyers. You hate a lawyer until you need one. You don't want to talk to a mortician until you need one. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a great campaign. But these campaign, I showed the list. You know, we have the list here, and you went like that, like you know, you don't care. You know, I mean, you don't care. If you don't care, we're in trouble.
I just think that this doesn't represent the candidates or the races. This is just simply a piece of paper.
Fair enough.
What represents them is what they're willing to do in 2016 to keep that seat or win that seat. And that's what fires me up. Who's going to come out and have their, like a Joe Benavides? Who's going to come out like a Judge Jack? You know, these are guys that
Fire
work hard.
Their belly, brother.
These are Democrats.
Fire in their belly.
These are Democrats that are ready, that are prepared, and they're strategically planning.
No, they are definitely the ring of fire. When you talk,
there's your examples.
They're a tsunami. Okay,
there's your examples.
Then you have the other ones that think that they can just go through the tripwires and just slither through and keep getting elected. How many people? Here's the problem: is so many candidates and so many people have been sitting judges. I won't mention names, but they're sitting judges who've never pulled an opponent. And there are positions in this town that never pulled an opponent. And let me tell them, I got news for them. The Republican Party is going to challenge all of them. Case in point, district clerk and county clerk. Who's in there now?
Exactly.
And my hat is off, whether you agree with her or not. Our county clerk has, hats off to her. She did her own campaigning. Even the Republican Party turned their back on her, and she won anyway. Her dad came down, okay? And her brother passed away during the campaign time. And who are we talking about? County clerk.
Miss Kara Sands.
And she stepped up. Have you heard anything that she's incompetent, crazy, anything like that?
That she is.
They tried to paint her that way, but you know what? All hats off to her because it's
the constitutional right. The Supreme Court said that that it's legal for gay marriages, and when
where are we going?
Well, she issues the wedding license.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She issues the wedding license from the county clerk's office.
That's right. And she's ultra conservative, and she issued it.
The county judge Lloyd Neal said, "We're going to uphold the Supreme Court. It's the law." That's when it all came out, and that's what she's doing.
I'm gonna miss Lloyd, man. When he
Judge
steps
Joe
down,
Benavides
man,
married
he's
the
like
first gay
Moses
couple
with the tablets. You know what I mean?
So you know,
I'm gonna miss him, man.
You know the whole gay marriage thing. You know, it's
Don't
like
go there. My wife's watching. Don't.
Well,
go there.
Like I said before, you have two souls and two hearts that love each other.
Yeah,
let them. Do they infringe your lifestyle? They're not infringing on your lifestyle, my lifestyle.
Well, Joe Benavides.
They have the right to a wedding line.
Joe Benavides did the first marriage here in South Texas. Everybody thinks Texas is backwards, right? He did between two middle-aged females, and he made CNN on this. I mean, they made a big deal on it.
And
in Texas, marrying, you know.
And like Judge said, I have to uphold the law. I'm not elected to be biased, or my opinions should not be forced on anyone. I uphold the law. That is what he's hired to do. That was he's elected to do. So that's what they're doing. And like I said, you know, it's not, you know, they love each other. They're kind to each other. They're two people that just happen to be the same sex.
I got it.
They're not infringing their lifestyle on you or I or anybody else. That's why it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Let them get the wedding.
Oil, stop drilling. Pardon the pun. Anyway, we've got about 3 minutes left to recover from your politically incorrectness, or incorrectness. Sorry. Okay, so we have. Okay, so Sands has proven everybody wrong. Okay,
she's good. She's doing her job.
She's doing her job.
You know, and more power to her. She ran a race. She made it through the fire.
The Republican Party shied away from her. She did it all by herself. Her and her dad, election day, we were there, and she won.
She was. I think she was as surprised and shocked as anyone herself, more because you know
she was really surprised.
It was a close race.
It was
like County Court number 5, very, very close race where Judge Tim McCoy now is presiding and doing a great job over there in County Court number 5 in family court.
And your friend who runs all those campaigns, who is our counterpart on the Republican side, who is Todd Hunter's right man, and who also he bought more ads in your paper, and the campaign strategist, none other than
Steve Ray.
All right, let's talk about Steve Ray. That guy is unknown to many people. You never know who I am the Great Wizard of Oz, lightning, thunder, and everything. He's the guy behind the curtain. He got in 95% or more of his candidates here in Nueces County. And I think he's going to retire from it, he says, whatever. But if he comes back this time and helps out candidates, it's going to be painted red. But we got like 30 minutes that have just flown by since the last break. Closing arguments on Trump.
If you don't like the Goliath, then you have to take him down by voting. Okay, it's a David and Goliath situation. All right, let's look at it. All right, just register to vote. It's really your voice that's going to make a difference. It doesn't matter how much money he has or what he says. It's how many people turn out to vote. It's all about the vote. That's really the bottom line.
All right.
And thank you very much for watching. And look for the South Texas Voice.
980-7748, 980-7748. And for those who want to stalk him, you're on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, and you can look under the South Texas Voice and Holbein Publishing, and give us a call. I'll still do credit restoration. Be happy to work out. Help you with credit.
I'd like for you to run for governor. I mean, if Trump can do it, why don't you run for office? You're outspoken. You know how to campaign. Why don't you run?
Well, let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Wow.
I'm not afraid to run. I mean, not only that,
I think
I'm
a lot of
qualified
people
to
are
run.
afraid of you.
I'm qualified to run. You know what? I would represent the people.
Why not run for county commissioner?
If I had your vote, I'd represent what's in your best interest, and I'd be transparent.
Like county commissioner?
I would be completely transparent and would hold weekly meetings, like little town meetings in my district, just to talk and hear, get some feedback. I'd throw barbecues.
Justice of the peace.
Let's just find out what's going on. I want everybody to know what's going on.
Judge Holbein. All right, we're out of time, and we've covered some areas that nobody else would here in town, let me tell you that. So just shoot us an email at visit us, South Texas Crossfire on Facebook, or shoot me an email at attorneyjoeflores@gmail.com, attorneyjoeflores@gmail.com, or Thomas Holbein, HOLBEIN @gmail.com, Thomas Holbein @gmail.com, or attorneyjoeflores@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, and we'll put them on TV if they're not too crazy, okay? Or if they're crazy, you know what, we're going to put them on anyway. We're out of time. Thank you all.